disproportional impact on the government. And, first, this was in context of Assam Rifles. Today it is in context of Manipur police where they have taken action. These are the tweets, police takes action, and now you have shut down the entire city. And they also made an attempt to free them from the police station. A sepoy of Indian army has been killed. I'm not saying that everything has gone awry in last 48 hours, but this is very disturbing when civil society actors take better of the security grid.
Is that to me?
Yes, this is to you. This is like overground actors of insurgency, if I may use the word.
No, absolutely. I agree with you. In fact, earlier on, the incidents which had taken place where the IG's car was burnt, and gradually, the incidents were coming down. This has come as a very, very severe jolt. We remember the cases also of the police officer being killed. And now that this has happened, it's an actual confrontation with the state police and rather with the government. This is a very serious action which has been contemplated on by the government, and I'm very happy that they have been put up before the magistrate. But this action is bound to continue because, Kartikeya, let us remember that in spite of the incidents coming down, there's a clear division, territorial division and also administrative division, where it's a kind of a ghettoization where the Maitis are congregating towards one side going across, and the Kukis are going across to their settlements. Therefore, this in itself is a very, very serious development, and the government should look into it. And I don't know, it's a 48-hour ban. I hope there is some end is brought to it, because without this, the road to peace is not possible.
Major Tool, your opening comments, what should be done?
Karthike, basically, there has to be a panel which is going to involve key figures from the Metai community and the Kuki community to first come and agree on talks. So the main reason is that until and unless there is no representation from both the sides, there is going to be a stalemate. Number one. Number two, the longer it stretches, more the weapon caches are going to increase, the smuggling of weapon caches. And their smuggling routes are mainly from Burma. So the Kukis are already getting their weapon systems from the Burma side. And then the Metais are also managing to smuggle their weapon systems from the across the border. So I'll not name the particular country because of the present scenario and reasons restricted with the government. So, but it's well understood which country I mean to point out. So the thing is that external countries will take advantage of this situation until and unless there is nobody who's going to come and sit for talks and normalize the situation.
Okay, I'm also joined by Hijang Misao and Mr. Nandakumar. Mr. Nandakumar, now, if you look at the developments of past 48 hours, the supplementary board papers got cancelled. The entire commercial establishment is shut down. Don't you think that it's uncivil on part of the civil society to force a shutdown like this if Manipur police is taking action?
It is very unfortunate. Bans have been called by the civil societies of Manipur. It is troubling the Meiteis. Mostly it's affecting the Meitei community. And I have been speaking to a lot of many friends, and they are suffering because of this ban at this juncture. However, the bans, though it's affecting the life,
since you keep in touch, since you keep in touch on an everyday basis, why was this ban called? Why don't people get in touch with these organizations and tell them not to do this? I personally feel after doing a show on this issue for more than 120 days, I feel that they're being handled very lightly. It has encouraged them.
See, it's very unfortunate. However, ultimately it boils down is the distrust by the Meitei community to the administration as well as the police and the other security forces. You see, the NS2 and the NS37 has been blocked, or blockade is ban in Hindi, I suppose. So when we have a NS2 blockade and no action has been taken, Of course, I do not support the ban called by the Myra Papis in Valley also. So all these things are correlated. So you have to instill the trust by this removing the blockade of NH2 and NH37 when it's free for all, including the Meitei communities. Now only Meitei communities and their vehicles are not permitted to fly on this national highway number 2. You would have seen about a month back the security forces were carrying from Guwahati to Imphal. However, they were burned. The Meitei buses were burned in Kangkupi in front of the security forces. Nothing could have been done. So all these visuals and the news would have, in fact, this is creating a mistrust. And that's why they felt helpless and more chaos in the chaos situation. Whatever actions you take is become more difficult for the people. That's what exactly happening. So central forces, central government and Manipur government should think and first clear all this and a blockade or burn of NH2 and NH37. Then things will slowly smoothen out. This is
Okay,
what I have to say.
okay. You want to come in, or should I go to Mr. Misal first?
I'll just one question to Nandakumarji. But Nandakumarji, this particular band is also called in to protest against the detention of or the arrest of those 5 youths by Manipur police. So how do you describe that? Because I completely understand and I agree with you that blockades of any road, road which is critical to the existence or leads to distress should not be there. But do you seriously think that pressurizing Manipur police is also okay?
You see, in a chaotic situation, everything is the decisions are taken in a very unprofessional way or in a hasty. That's why things are happening. And I'll tell you why Mera Paivis are taking such type of hasty decision of calling ban. Because in the initial phase of the crisis, you would have heard the Mera Paivis, not only Mera Paivis, all the people, the civilians of the Manipur, they were asking help from Manipur police, the security forces, when their houses were burned and the killings are happening. So nobody turned up. In that time, people went up to the extent that these insurgency groups have been requested openly on camera. Please come, you people only are our hope. So that is one very unfortunate thing that situational that advantage would have been taken by those miscreants, and of course they would have gained some sympathy. And when they are in trouble, so this must be some sort of say showing the say payback or something like that. That's what I presume, which is incorrect, because taking arms and fighting with the government is always bad. We should peacefully protect and protest. We should peacefully protest and ask our demand. So taking up guns against the state is always condemnable and is highly condemned. The police
Okay,
crackdown to the
okay.
miscreants is
I, th-
highly
I think I
commendable.
think I think I think at this point of time I would like to get in Mr. Misal. Mr. Misal, how do you respond to this? Entire valley is shut because people with weapons are caught. This is like amazing. You catch people with weapons, sophisticated weapons, as per the tweet of the Manipur police, and you have the ban because the mob wants to free them. I mean, you call them civil society? That's very uncivil.
Yeah, Kartike, I would say this is nothing new. It is something which is always happening in Manipur. The Meira Paibis was once highly regarded women organization for their unflinching role in bringing social and moral justice in Manipur, especially among the Meitei community. And the famous Lupilan, which is recorded in history, is all because of their role. Now, unfortunately, today's Meira Paibi has lost its credibility because of the role they played during this present conflict. Just going back to some chronological news report. For instance, on June 4, a 7-year-old boy, along with his mother, on auntie, who were transported by ambulance for emergency medical assistance, were waylaid and burned down, but then they were burned alive. And on June 20, four UNLF cadre, as per news report, were arrested with 51 mortar. They were forcefully released by the women because they stormed the police station where they were kept. And on June 25, 12 KYKL, a band proscribed Valley-based insurgent group, were arrested by the army along with the sophisticated weapon and one light store. They were also forcefully released because of the women folk, the so-called Mera Paibis, which is very unfortunate because uh, this posed a very greater national security threat in such giving circumstance. Women who have to play the role of peacekeeping rather than doing that today, when five uh, civilians who don the commando camouflage, holding all the sophisticated weapons, were arrested, they are calling all this bun. Rather than that, they should call bun for keeping, for the state failure to bring peace and the central failure to bring peace. So if they do that, I think that would be the right way to bring about peace. But today, when they are opposing and when they are calling all this bun just because they want the release of those four arrested people who are clearly arrested because they have those uh, sophisticated weapons. And at the same time, I was saying it's nothing new because the army has also released a visual where the police commando and those foreign elements who are also dressing
Okay.
like the commandos are also attacking the armies at the same time the civilians in Parliament. I think this has to be taken very seriously by the central government, and unless we do that, I think democracy in Manipur
Okay.
is at high stake,
Ijang, you made a
and there
point.
is complete
Ijang, I'll come to Ijang, I'll come to
yeah.
you. You have made a point. Mr. Azad, do you think that this has become a national security issue? You know, I don't use this word loosely, sir. National security. But if anyone analyzes the footage of last 120 days, it's like civil society have a free run of Manipur and the security forces are at the receiving end. In some parts it is Manipur police and in another part it is Assam rifle. But ultimately the arms of the state in charge of coercion, which is the sole prerogative of state anywhere in modern world, is at the receiving end. Where does it happen? I'll come to you, Major Tool. First, Mr. Azad.
I think it's a serious threat to internal security. You're right. And why national security is involved is because we have a very sensitive border. We've already talked about it. Now, the one thing is, which is very important, is that if we look at the incident in isolation, definitely it's an absolutely unacceptable incident of trying to, release those people, trying to overawe the police stations, but in an atmosphere of distrust. And that is where I agree with Mr. Nankumar Sharma. He made a very good point. You look into the wider context where your national highways are blocked, number 2, number 37, and because you feel there will be a bigger fallout, and that's why you're allowing that, then it gives a kind of a different kind of a message. As you rightly said, with people, aligned on different sides, one blaming the Assam rifles, the other blaming the Manipur police, and then clashes between the two, or a war of words between the two. It gives a very sordid picture of the entire place, which means that, Manipur today is divided territorially and also by social polity wise into two different groups. So that is what has to be broken this time, and has to be important. Now, there is also an allegation, Karthike, about the SOO groups, whether they are in the camps, whether the weapons are supposedly be there, or they are outside. So it's a question of various bunkers, various territorial divisions where people are, flaunting their openly the weaponry, and even trying to block vehicles, and sort of act as checkposts. So the question is, at this particular point of time, there has to be a massive, statewide kind of operation, which is absolutely neutral. And the most important thing is of unearthing arms and not allowing camouflaged and fatigue groups to move in.